Ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask you to please start taking your seats. We're about to get started in the next few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask you to please finish up and start taking your seats. We're going to be starting in the next few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can finish up and start taking your seats, we're going to get started in the next few minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just a couple of logistics, please. If I could ask you just to have a look at the lanyard tag that you have. If you can see a red dot on your lanyard tag, then the front few tables are reserved for the people who have the red dots on their lanyards. If you do not have a red dot on your lanyard, please would you just make space for those people. Those front few tables have been reserved for people who have the red dot on their lanyards. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Can I ask everyone to settle down, please, so we can get started? Okay, good morning. I don't hear anything back. You know, I'm African. Greeting is very important. And, you know, because today is Heritage Day, what I thought, instead of me telling you, greeting you in all the South African languages, I thought because we have such a diverse audience today, I am going to greet you in my home language. And please, can I ask that you respond in your own home language? Is that good? Okay, cool. So, dumelang. Awesome. Honorable ministers and honorable dignitaries, distinguished guests, and as we say in South Africa, all protocol observed. Welcome to South Africa and welcome to this beautiful Karoo. It is truly a privilege to host all of you here on Heritage Day. My name is Ponso Maruping and I am the Managing Director of the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. So essentially this is my home and today it is your home too. Heritage Day is a special day for South Africa. This is the day where we celebrate many cultures, languages, traditions that give South Africa its strength and richness. And today we are doing a similar thing with having the many cultures, languages, and traditions come together to celebrate this amazing site and this amazing project of building the best world-class radio telescope, both in South Africa and in Australia. This project really represents the essence of celebration of heritage. Not only the heritage of one nation, but the shared heritage of humanity. Timeless curiosity about the universe, a determination to work together across borders to search for answers is what this project really represents. For as long as people have walked this land and looked up the sky for guidance, they've always looked up at the sky for guidance. Here in the Karoo, the Khoisan people are among the first astronomers. They use the stars as a compass and a calendar. They wove it into their stories and a creation of life. And I hope that you had an opportunity to talk to the astro guides in the exhibition area who tell the stories that originate from this area about what astronomy means to them and how it links to their culture and heritage. To them, the Milky Way was not just a glowing band in the night sky. It was a pathway, a reminder that the heavens and the earth are forever connected. Africa has always been a continent of sky watchers, and I imagine other continents too. Across the history, communities have named the stars, they've drawn meaning from the constellations, and used the night sky to shape agriculture, navigation, and spiritual life. The Cosmic Echoes exhibition tells a little bit about those stories as well. And in this case, it's not just from Africa, but it's also from Australia, where we are building part of the SK telescope. Today, on this very same soil, South Africa, together with our international partners, is continuing that tradition of a new way, where we are building the most powerful radio telescope the world has ever seen. The SKA will allow us to look deeper into the universe than ever before and unlock mysteries of the cosmos that have inspired human imagination for centuries. So on this Heritage Day, let us remember that the search for knowledge is one of humanity's oldest traditions, and it may well be one of the greatest legacies that we can leave for the next generation to come. Happy Heritage Day to everyone, and let us begin this exciting journey of the day. So I am going to manage the program for you today. Because I know that you are not here for speeches, I will try and make sure the people who come up here stick to time. Just remember, some of them are my bosses, so I might not be able to tell them to stop now. So please be kind with me. But I know that what you are mostly excited about is to get out there and see what we've been raving about this whole time. So I will now call Ms. Funeka Khumalo, who is representing the NRF board, to do an official welcome for us.
I promise I will not take too much time. Honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, welcome to this extraordinary site. We are reminded that great science is never the work of instruments alone. It thrives when supported by strong systems, sustained funding, and the deliberate inclusion of people from all walks of life. The National Research Foundation is a cornerstone of South Africa's national system of innovation, our country's engine for turning ideas into impact. How do we do this? We do this by funding leading researchers whose work shapes policy and innovation, supporting postgraduate students, the future leaders of science, providing national research infrastructure in fields from astronomy to aquatic sciences, particle physics to public science engagements. SKA-Mid and MeerKAT are proof that South Africa can blend domestic investment with international co-funding to achieve world-class science. Our funding model ensures that every rand and every dollar delivers both scientific excellence and community benefit. We work hand in hand with government, the SKAO, the global partners, so that contributions, whether financial, technical, or intellectual, create a shared value. MeerKAT and SKA-Mid are not isolated projects. They are deeply embedded in South Africa's broader innovation ecosystem. Astronomy here fuels breakthroughs in data science, artificial intelligence, and advanced engineering. These projects spark new research clusters, They attract global talent, inspire young people to pursue the STEM careers. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not just telescopes. They are platforms for transformation, building the skills and industries that will shape our country's future. As we look ahead, I invite our G20 partners to continue walking this journey with us, not only as funders, but as co-creators of a shared scientific future. Together, we can ensure that the discoveries made here will inspire, empower, and benefit generations to come. Honorable ministers and delegates, welcome to the shed.
That was easy. Was watching that clock like a hawk, and I didn't have to do anything. Thank you so much, Ms. Funeka. I will now call on the Director General of the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, Professor Phil Diamond, to give the SKA overview.
Thank you, Ponso. You have me scared now that I'll go over time, but I'll try not to. So I would like to add my welcome to that of Ponso and our NRF board member to the distinguished ministers, ambassadors, high commissioners, and representatives here today, and all of our colleagues. But I would especially like to say, to welcome and say a huge thank you to all of those staff who've come into work on a national holiday, a bank holiday today, on Heritage Day, to help support this event. We very much appreciate it. And also, as Ponso has indicated, I'd like to welcome you to what is one of the SKA Observatory's 3 sites. One might ask why this site was chosen, why here in the Northern Cape, in the Karoo. Well, it was back nearly 25 years ago, in the early 2000s, when the SKA concept was in its infancy, that South Africa began to develop interest in hosting the Square Kilometre Array. And at that time, the nascent organization was undertaking surveys of potential sites around the world which might be suitable. And South Africa put its name forward, and there was a lot of work done. Colleagues, actually I had hoped one of them would be here in the room, but he's obviously taking advantage of the bank holiday, found this site, drove out here with a few other people. There was nothing here at that point, and they identified this as a future site for both MeerKAT and the SKA. Key characteristics are the low population density, which in turn translates to a radio quiet site. The fact that it's in the southern hemisphere and the galactic plane passes overhead is key. And then South African colleagues started developing the site in 2005, putting in place what eventually became MeerKAT. The SKA as a whole has been a 35-year undertaking since those initial discussions that happened in the late 80s and early 90s. And after years of scientific discussions, engineering work, site selection, detailed design, and a strong political engagement by a number of countries, as you've heard, the SKA Observatory was came into existence, really, it was founded in March 2019 when 7 countries signed the SKAO Convention in Rome. Moving forward a couple of years, in December 2022, we held on this site and in our site in Australia simultaneously the SKA Observatory's construction commencement ceremonies. And today, almost 3 years later, you will have the opportunity to see how much progress has been made in that construction. Let me highlight a couple of aspects. First and foremost, here in South Africa, the SKA telescope is being constructed in and around the wonderful South African 64-dish MeerKAT telescope. And we will be out there shortly in the middle of it. It is currently the best radio telescope on Earth. And what we at SKA are doing are building on that superb legacy to make something even larger. MeerKAT is, as we heard yesterday, being extended with 14 SKA-designed dishes funded by Germany, Italy, and South Africa. Earlier this year, we released the first image from our SKA Low telescope in Australia. And there we've now assembled over 12,000 antennas. And over in the display there in the corner, you will see one of those antennas. It's not a scale model, it's a real 2-meter tall life-size antennas. We now have 12,000 of the 131,000 we will need. And in Australia, we've completed our first construction milestone, demonstrating a working system throughout the entire chain. Here on this site, we have just seen our first dish, SKA-001, open its eyes on the universe and take a spectrum of neutral hydrogen in the Milky Way. It's the first signal captured by SKA technology here in the Karoo. It's a critical construction milestone for us, and for us radio astronomers, a very special moment. 5 of our dishes are now proudly standing, and several others are either under assembly here or on the ocean. It actually says in the ocean here, on the ocean, on their way to the site from China, where they are being manufactured. And it's very pleasing to see our Chinese colleagues from CTC 54, the company that is constructing the dishes and assembling them here on site. In fact, in the exhibition over there, you'll see a lovely photograph of the dish with the different components, with the flags of the countries from where those components originate. And this is a fantastic demonstration of the international nature of the observatory. You will see as we tour the site shortly the large number of completed foundations waiting for SKA-Mid dishes. 101 of the 109 foundations have been completed. There is also much that is not visible to you, since the infrastructure has been installed both here in the ground and many kilometers away on the 3 spiral arms that emanate from the core. And in fact, both here and in Australia, a large fraction of the infrastructure has now been completed. And we will soon see the contractors responsible for that begin their withdrawal from site. We will then turn to completing the installation of the dishes, the antennas in Australia, the telescope hardware, and the massive digital systems and software, and turning all of that hardware into a radio telescope. The observatory is first and foremost a science endeavor, and our mission is to deliver, in a few short years, transformational science. And this will undoubtedly change the way we see the universe and our place within it. But the SKAO can only be a success if the delivery of our mission is done respecting the people living around our facilities. You see some of these people here participating in our event today. And please do peruse the stalls and visit the robotics display. That's great fun, by the way, if you haven't done that yet. But we must also respect the environment where we're building our facilities and more generally respect our shared planet. As such, sustainability has been at the core of our delivery from day one. And there are countless case studies across the entire partnership demonstrating how the SKA is already helping addressing several of the UN Sustainability Development Goals. We're science-driven, but we're also impact-driven. And already some years ago, we put together a working group to look at the socio-economic impact that we've made and made sure to include this topic as part of our narrative and not as a nice thing to have. It really is one of the drivers of our decision-making processes. And on the planes today, you should have all received a copy, the very latest copy of our Contact magazine, which is published 3 times a year. I think it's a beautiful publication aimed at the educated public. But this edition focuses specifically on impact. So if you didn't have a chance to read it on the way out, please do so on the way back. I see you, Ponzo. I should remind our audience here that in less than 100 years, radio astronomy has had a major impact on our world, from the awarding of 3 Nobel Prizes through to the development of groundbreaking technologies. And building on the shoulders of these giants, the SKO will expand this legacy for the benefit of tomorrow's society. So I would like to conclude with just an acknowledgement of the enormous confidence that the members have in South Africa as a trusted host for the SKA-Mid telescope. And we enjoy and will continue to do so for many years, working very closely with our colleagues at the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. Thank you very much.
I'm going to give him a little grace that, maybe he doesn't have his watch. But thank you very much, Phil. I will now call on Kevin Govender. He will moderate a panel. Kevin is the director of the Astronomy for Development. Anyway, he'll tell you who he is. So Kevin, please come over and he'll introduce his panelists as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So maybe I can call my panelists to the stage. So we have Mr. Isaac Machuloko. He's a young radio astronomer and PhD candidate at the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa, funded by the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory's Human Capital Development Program. Isaac, you can come to the stage. We have Professor Jessica Dempsey. She's the current director of Astron, the Netherlands Institute for Radio Astronomy, and incoming Director General of the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, taking up a role in June 2026. Then we have Professor Michelle Doherty, the UK's Astronomer Royal, and Executive Chair of the UK's Science and Technology Facilities Council, and incoming President of the Institute of Physics. And we have Dr. Phul Mjwara, South African Ambassador to UNESCO and former Director General of the South African Department of Science and Technology. Let's give them a hand. We have a great panel here. So our job, I think, so we have our mics. Can I also have a mic? Okay, maybe I'll borrow one of these. So our panel, our role is to sort of give you a bigger picture of why we're here today. And so we have the privilege of having these esteemed guests. I thought to help you give the bigger picture, I brought this. This was a resource my wife and I used to use with kids. It's made of satellite images of the Earth, and it gives you a nice picture of sort of what the Earth would look like from space. And on this Heritage Day, we may be celebrating Heritage Day here in South Africa, but this is our united heritage. This is our planet. And you know, to paraphrase from the preamble to the South African Constitution, this planet belongs to all who live in it. And we are united in our diversity. I noticed the South African emblem there, the coat of arms says, so if you read in the green, Ike Taraike, which means that strength in diversity. So today, we are all here today. We are coming together because on this tiny planet, when we look at it from space, we don't see the country borders and we don't see the things that divide us. But also, when we're on this planet, we explore beyond the planet. And we are here today at an astronomy facility, and when we look out from this planet, we look at a sky that is part of all of our heritage. So with that, let me jump into it and start with maybe asking you know, a question that that many of you may be wondering is why do we do what we do? So I'll start with Isaac. You know, when we spoke, you said you were one of the products of South Africa's investment in astronomy. So maybe you can tell us your story and share with us from your perspective why we invest in astronomy.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, ministers, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is a great privilege to speak to you today on Heritage Day, a day when we reflect not only on where we come from, but also on where we are going as a country and as a continent. My name is Isaac Maholeho. I am proud to say I am a product of South Africa's investment in astronomy. I was born and raised in Makaunyana. It's a village outside Mabopane. Growing up in a rural community, I never thought that one day I would be leading the data processing and science analysis for an international collaboration using one of the world's most radio telescope, the powerful radio telescope that is MeerKAT. That was made possible from the vision that is SARAO's Human Capital Development Program, which has funded me from the very first year of my undergraduate studies right up to today. That support that I got from the HCD program was a life-changing support, not only for me, but for my family as well, because the bursary didn't just pay for tuition. It also allowed me to help renovate our home, to install solar panels at home, and also to create a better environment for my siblings to study in. So for a young student from a village, that was more than just a financial aid. It was dignity, stability, and a chance to dream bigger. So beyond the finances, the HCD program, which is the Human Capital Development Program, gave me mentorship, opportunities, and exposure to world-class science. After my honors degree, I had a chance to intern at SARAO, right here in Carnarvon, where I met some of the researchers who helped me find a project that I was truly passionate about. One of those is Dr. Lindsay Magnus, who guided me toward the projects that eventually became my master's and later my PhD. Today, I am a principal investigator for one of the largest MeerKAT surveys of galaxy clusters, working with international partners from the South Pole Telescope and other observatories. Together, we are discovering some of the faintest radio signals ever detected from the distant universe. These discoveries are not just pushing the boundaries of astrophysics, they are placing South Africa at the center of international astronomy. And the reason I share this story is not only to speak about myself, but to show what happens when you invest in young people. So when you ministers commit resources to science and education, you are not just funding telescopes or bursaries. You are building people, you are building communities, you are building futures, And I strongly believe that astronomy is uniquely powerful in this regard, because astronomy is not only about looking at the stars. The skills we gain in processing, for example, massive MeerKAT datasets using advanced computing, machine learning, and artificial intelligence are the same skills that are vital for the future economy in climate science, in healthcare, in technology, and in data-driven industries. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that when you invest in astronomy, you are truly investing in the training ground for the fourth industrial revolution, which I believe will benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isaac. So I must be aware of Poncho in case she pushes us for time here. I didn't mention that the other reason I have this earth ball is so I can throw it at anyone that takes too long. Let's move on. Professor Dempsey, we are here in South Africa. We are at this site. And Isaac talked about being funded through the program that was from here, from the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory. But this is an incredibly ambitious project, the square kilometer array. And some refer to this as a mega science infrastructure. But what, from your perspective, is the reason that we do this? Why should we do this? Why should governments be investing in such a thing?
Thank you. I don't know how to follow that, Isaac. That was kind of amazing. Yeah, I think I want to take it a bit global from this really earthy perspective, which I really appreciated, which was I was fortunate enough to be here for part of the G20 for the last few days, so I've been able to think about this a bit, which is, I think this is SKA is a global experiment, and I don't mean the science. I think this is also an opportunity for, it's probably the most diverse global experiment to build an infrastructure at this scale. And there has to be some good reasons why all of these countries coming from literally all parts of the planet have decided this is a good thing to do. And one of them was really starkly illustrated by the former Italian Prime Minister, Enrico Letta, when he addressed the G20. He said, "Science is one of the last universal bridges we all share." And he gave a wonderful framing of the fact that even while we have all of these very other great challenges amongst our world, science will be one of these bridges. And we talk a lot in this construction about the scale and the cost. And so people want to say, well, what am I getting for this investment? And we talk about return of investment and all of these things. And I think we miss a bit of the point when we look at that number. Because one of the amazing things we get back into our countries, particularly with such an ambitious project, is the type of return. Because our industries, our small and medium businesses, are working with bleeding edge technology that wouldn't be able to normally work in and at scale, which means even after contracts are finished, you have now got a more robust core business for all of these high-tech industries and really matching to the needs you have now. So it keeps on giving and all across the world. And the other thing I was also brought to mind, which was in the SKA ministerial meeting held yesterday, and I think it was the Honourable Minister for Science from China who put it beautifully, and he said, the SKA is about pooling global wisdom. And I really thought this was another opportunity, because with this science framework, we can look to who our partnerships and our shared interests are around the world, and not just have the scientific collaborations, but for our young workforce around the world, we give them the ability to roam through this organization. They can go out there, they can come here, they can get that expertise and that experience, take it back and invest that back nationally in accelerate your own technologies. The other thing was, and this is sort of to jump on from something Isaac said, I was very lucky to be a part of the Women and Girls in Science side event on the Saturday, and there was more than 200 high school girls. Oh my God, the energy. I was exhausted. But it was an amazing event because we were talking about actionable things we can do. And one of the numbers that stuck with me was that if we close the gender gap in the digital landscape and science landscape, we would inject $5 trillion into the G20 GDP by 2030. And looking at those girls, and if you could bottle that energy, we could build and run the telescopes for 10 years. And we're throwing that away right now. So I really want to thank the members who spoke to the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because SKA has the opportunity for all of us to be that leader, that pioneer, the one that said, well, SKA is doing it, so it can't be that hard. And so I think we have a great opportunity, and it's another reason for this global investment, is to really make sure that we represent our communities, we reflect the diversity of this global alliance, and we have women in leadership. We have our minorities in leadership. So I think that's another really good, important reason. And just the last one I'll hit on is what Phil mentioned, which is we have to figure out how to do this sustainably. What does carbon neutral, carbon negative astronomy look like? How do we make our research infrastructures at this scale not just not making a bad footprint, but actually return into their communities and provide that in a sustainable way? And not just sustainable in terms of carbon, but in the communities themselves. We can't just take, we have to be fully embedded. And if we can figure this out for SKA, that's something that we've taken across this global alliance for other things that we need.
No, thank you very much. So I must confess and apologize that I'm very poor at protocol. I keep wanting to call you by your first name because you are so friendly, but I also feel I should call you, respectfully, Professor Doherty. Let's turn to you next, Michelle. When we talk about big science, we can't get bigger than some of the science you've been involved in. She has an instrument on its way to Jupiter at the moment, and she's been involved in these massive explorations. Maybe you can take through the audience as to why are such missions and such explorations important to us here on planet Earth? Why should we invest in curiosity-driven science?
Of course I can do that, but before I do, let me just tell you the reason I'm sitting here is because I'm assuming you can't throw that ball quite this far.
I'll put it on the chair.
So before I talk about how important curiosity-driven science is, I just wanted to say that, like Isaac, I'm a product of the South African education system. I was born and brought up in South Africa. I left after my PhD and I went to Europe, and I've spent 35 years now in the UK, and so I'm a product of the UK research and innovation landscape as well. But it's what I learned in South Africa that essentially set me on the path that I am on now. And in fact, my first view of Jupiter and Saturn was through a telescope that my dad built in our garden in Durban. I never thought I would end up building instruments that would go to both Jupiter and Saturn. And for me, what SKAO stands for is how, by pulling together people from across the world, collaborating with people from across the world, you always get the best outcome. All of the involvement I've had in a NASA mission to Saturn and a European Space Agency mission to Jupiter, the best outcomes that we achieved and will achieve is because we're working across international boundaries. We all think differently. We all see things in different ways, and by pooling all of those ideas together, we come up with a much better understanding of how things were. I mean, from my perspective, I see us as explorers, just like the early explorers went out in ships and realized the Earth is actually round, as Kevin has showed us, rather than falling off the edge. What we are doing in SKAO and what we're doing by sending spacecraft out into space is we're exploring our environment, we're getting an understanding of where we come from. Some of the work I did on the Cassini mission to Saturn, we discovered a water vapor plume at one of the moons. And by looking closely at that moon, we realized there's a liquid water ocean underneath the surface of the moon. And that is a place potentially where life might form. What we're doing with SKAO is we're getting an understanding of our universe, what we can see in the night sky, and it's going to allow us to set the scene for further exploration in the future. But I think what scientists are not always good at is describing what they do to the general public. And I think SKAO does that so well. If you can't pull people along with you as to why you do a great science vision, then we're going to lose them in the process. And I think that's one of the things that is being done so well, both here in the UK and in Australia, when we talk about SKAO and how important it is. And I think I'll stop there because I can see Poncho and she's looking at me. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. So I'm going to move now to, I believe it's Your Excellency, Dr. Mjwara. We've been taken on a journey, and we've heard about the impact on people, about the curiosity-driven science, about these things out there. Maybe you can now bring us back down to earth from your perspective within the UNESCO and the United Nations system. Maybe talk to us about the most critical global challenges that humanity is facing today, and the role that science has to play.
Thanks very much, Kevin, and Your Excellencies, ministers, distinguished guests, and fellow panelists. Before I come to the question that you've asked, I just want to give a context of what I do these days. I am a representative of South Africa at UNESCO. And at UNESCO, we have a group of ambassadors all over the world, but I am also working fairly closely with the ambassadors from the African continent. And then, of course, as South Africa is the chair of the G20, I'm here to listen to the outcomes of the G20 Ministerial for Science, Technology, and Innovation. And you will see why I'm giving you this context later on. So you've asked me to talk about challenges, but I also want to say to the audience, some are challenges, some are great opportunities. So I'm going to focus on a few. I've chosen 4 for today. The first one is climate change. I've broken this down to water, oceans, and understanding climate change. Of course, there are many others. And then the second one that I've chosen is health. We've been told that we are entering the age of pandemics, and people all over the world are looking at the One Health idea, zoonotic diseases that are getting into human beings. And then AI, is it an opportunity or is it a challenge? And then one that we have in Africa is I've been told that 35% by 2050 will be young people in Africa. Fortunately, at UNESCO, there are programs that are trying to understand some of these challenges and what can be done. So I'm going to share this with you quickly, and then I'll link that to SKA and what SKA can do to assist in the continent, of course, globally. There's a program called Priority Africa, and this is really trying to say within the assets that UNESCO has, how can Africa benefit from these assets? So they've got climate change, a program called the Men in the Biosphere program. So they have these biospheres all over the world. And they are trying to pilot as a living lab how, as human beings, we can bring our climate change solutions to climate change at a local level. They have a program called the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission that is looking at early warning systems for tsunamis, but also just the early warnings for when we have rise in temperatures. In UNESCO, we have a number of countries that are called small developing island states, and we all know what is happening to some of them. They will disappear in the next 5 or 10 years, so it is important to have an early warning system. They have an IHP program, Intergovernmental Hydrological Program, that is looking at the water cycles. And then they have gender and youth. Now, why am I choosing these programs and I'm sharing them with you? It's because we do know that once the signals of the SKA get onto the dishes, the rest is just a data collecting and a data processing machine. So, as we've heard from Isaac, you are developing expertise on how to just manage these large amounts of data. You have to store it, you have to preserve it, and you have to try and make sense out of it. So we'll have data analytics, we will have AI and machine learning. This one I wasn't sure whether I should say scientists are lazy or scientists are very inventful, because you are not going to get all the objects that you want to see from this large data using eyes only, or techniques that are traditional. I suspect there's going to be a lot of AI and machine learning that you'll be developing in order to identify what you're looking for. And therefore, SKA can play a very, very important role in the development in Africa and the continent by continuing to train young people, and hence I brought the 35% of youth by 2050 through the bursary program that Isaac has benefited from. I have to say that as an ambassador, I don't have a sense of numbers anymore, but I was told that the program only accommodates 250 students. It sounds like a very small number, but please don't take an ambassador's assessment of numbers seriously. But I would still think it's a very small number, so to have an opportunity to, and here there are many, many partners, maybe to make that number 4 times in order to meet the challenges that we have. And I'm also aware that within the SKA and SARAO in particular, you have an Africa Radio Astronomy program, the DARA program, and we are grateful to the partners that are working with South Africa on these. And I think these are excellent instruments to drive development through science in the rest of the continent. And we are looking forward, of course, within the AU to develop an AI implementation strategy in the continent. And we heard yesterday that as part of the G20, the Africa Biodiversity Genome is going to be crucial to contribute to the health challenges that Africa faces. So I'd like to stop here, and I hope I've been able to give you a sense of both the challenges, some solutions, and the role of SKA in contributing to some of those challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. So we're going to take a quick reflection now. What we did was, in preparation for this event, we asked people around the world, especially within the network of the International Astronomical Union, we asked, what do people think that the G20 science ministers should hear, and what would their messages be to the G20 science ministers? So if our technical team, we made a short montage of some of the videos that we received. So not just the voices of our esteemed panel here, but also some voices from around the world. Are we good to go?
What does astronomy mean to us?
Perspective.
Limitless.
Connection.
Future. Grounding.
Curiosity.
Hope. For me and my community, astronomy is more than science. It is a source of inspiration, curiosity, and unity.
Astronomy goes beyond studying the universe. It brings people together.
We aim at using the sky as a bridge to connect people, artists, children from the favela, with people, students, professors, and scientists from the university.
I urge G20 science ministers, when you invest in astronomy and science, make sure it reaches every community equally.
Astronomy reminds us that we are one planet facing common challenges which demands global solutions.
Technology developed by NOVA astronomers is being used to monitor the health of our planet, to cure cancer, and to watch out for security threats in space.
Please make use of our expertise in astronomy and astronomy education.
Using astronomy, we have inspired tens of thousands of young girls, showing them that science is not out of reach, but with the right support, these girls can become the scientists, engineers, and leaders who transform their communities.
Astronomy teaches us to see Earth how it truly is, a single, fragile planet suspended in the vastness of space.
A wise man once said, "It is astronomy that gives us the perspective we need to change the world."
Supporting astronomy is not a waste. Supporting astronomy means you are investing in science, you are investing in people.
Fundamental science is the cradle of our modern society. It drives the entire process of research and innovation that is responsible for our well-being, health, but also industrial healthiness and national security.
I call on the G20 leaders to support initiatives that connect astronomy with education, opening a brighter future for youth in Iraq and all around the world.
Astronomy is inspiring a wide range of young people to take up high-tech skills that are going to address the global challenges of the 21st century. What do we say, Dara?
Astronomy for a better world!
Thank you very much. Oh, you can feel free. We will send our applause out into the world. These are just short snippets. There's part of the exhibition where you can see the full videos. But these are the people we serve. These are the people that we inspire. When we explore the universe, it's that we explore on behalf of humanity. So I'm going to round up now by allowing our panel in the same order to maybe give their final messages to our distinguished guests. Isaac.
Thank you. Ministers, my message to you is simple. Keep believing in young people. Keep investing in science. The returns go far beyond research papers or publications. They uplift families, they empower communities, and they prove that Africa can lead in global science. Thank you very much for your support.
What he said. No, following you, Isaac, is really hard. I really want to just jump on that and do that back to the three themes that I think the G20 presidency had also stand for what we want to do with SKA and what we need in order to succeed in the way we want to do it, which is the themes of solidarity, equality, and sustainability. And it will be with those three things that we don't just see the universe in a different way, but we do something which unites us at a time when we sorely need that.
So can I say just what Isaac and Jessica said, but I'll add a little bit more to that as well. I think for me what Isaac touched on, and that is the youth of today. You know, the other three people that you have sitting on the panel, we used to be young, but because of the support we got and the funding and the excitement that was generated in us, we ended up doing what we have done in our careers, and Isaac is on that path now. So let's make sure we continue to support the youth of today across the world. And on the international front, as you can tell, that's really important for me. We can get the best out of ourselves if we all work together. So can we just make sure that we continue to do that and up it if we need to as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Two messages. The first one is I was really inspired by this idea of anticipatory leadership that we had a couple of days ago. So I hope that the political leadership that we have here today have taken those words seriously. And then the second one is that we need, as the scientific community, to continue to engage with political leadership. And this project, I think, has done this very, very well. And I just want to say, as an ambassador, please trust ambassadors to be a bridge between the scientists and the politicians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So if I can round up, I think that there were some key points that came up, and I wish we had more time. So please, I encourage all of you, engage with our panelists during the course of the day, and as you see the site, I think those words, and I challenge you to, if you haven't tried, to learn those words. Ike kara ike, strength in diversity, and this is what we're all here about. And you know, I think my closing message to you would be, when you go back to your countries, when you look at the stars, remember this day. When you look at a sunset or a sunrise, remember this day and remember what you've seen here. When you look at the moon, remember what you experience here today, and remember that in our exploration of the universe, it's our responsibility to drive humanity forward. So thank you very much to the panelists, and thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and the panelists. That was really quite inspiring. I did forget to mention earlier, please pay attention to these safety notes that are on your tables. The people with the orange vests are sitting there at the back. So if you have any health or safety emergency, just reach out to them and they will assist. We will now continue with our program. I will now call on the Director General of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Mlungi Sicele, on behalf of Minister Nzimande, to deliver a keynote address.
Program Director and the Management Director of this place that's hosting us, esteemed G20 Science and Innovation Ministers, High Commissioners and Ambassadors, distinguished representatives of the SKA Observatory member states, prospective SKAO partners. Maybe I must pause there because we really want prospective to be translated into current. And please, France, move faster. And those who are still deciding, I hope they could move even faster than France to get us. And those who haven't decided, I hope you heard the key message. Phil said we have started connecting with the universe. I assume it's much more warmer that side and beautiful than where we are. Strategic stakeholders from over 30 nations represented today, a warm welcome to all our valued guests. Let me extend our sincerest apology on behalf of Minister Professor Nzimande, who is here in this building, but regrettably, he's unable to be present with us. He really wished that he could be part so that he could deliver the message and interact with you. Happy Heritage Day to everyone present. As we remember that Africa is the source, is the original. It gave birth to all of you as human species. Thank you for joining us at this historic site in the Karoo near Carnarvon for this ministerial SKA event. It is an honor to host you at this prestigious site, which is a beacon of South African and global scientific ambition. Today we stand on a sacred ground, not only for its pristine radio quiet skies, but for its role in uniting nations to explore the mysteries of the universe. This event, as organized by the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation in collaboration with the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, which is a facility of an entity called the National Research Foundation and the International SKA Observatory, is a testament to what humanity can achieve through a shared vision and collaboration. South Africa's commitment to science and innovation is reflected in the sense that as the South African government, we have a long recognized science, technology, and innovation as a cornerstones of inclusive and sustainable economic growth and social progress. Our National Development Plan and the Decadal Plan for Science, Technology, and Innovation provides a robust policy frameworks within which to drive this agenda. Astronomy in particular has been our strategic priority, and we have used it to demonstrate our commitment to science diplomacy. The SKA project embodies this vision. Our government has secured funding, enabled critical infrastructure, and legislated protections to ensure a radio-quiet zone here in the Karoo. These efforts ensure the sustainability of this world-class facility while delivering tangible benefits to local communities. From enacting policies to fostering partnerships, we are building a legacy of excellence that resonates locally and globally. South Africa's investment in large-scale research infrastructure like the SKA-Mid and its precursor MeerKAT positions our nation as a global leader in astronomy. The MeerKAT telescope, already one of the world's most powerful, has produced over 500 scientific publications, thus pushing the boundaries of discovery. The SKA-Mid, which is now under construction, will further elevate our capacity to probe the cosmos and other dimensions. And this is not just about telescopes. It is about human potential. The SKA project is a catalyst for developing the next generation of scientists, innovators, and engineers. Over 1,700 grants and bursaries have been awarded, with 90% graduation rates across all fields. Just in this province called Northern Cape, 90% of our staff are local community members, and we have trained over 300 artisans in Carnarvon. Our strategic advantages include dark skies, rich biodiversity, paleontological treasures, make South Africa a unique hub for scientific discovery, thus contributing to humanity's understanding of the universe. Hosting the SKA-Mid positions South Africa and the African continent as a serious contributor to frontier science. This project is a symbol of Africa's growing role in knowledge production. We are not just participants, and we don't want to remain observers as well, but we are working toward becoming leaders in this endeavor. 8 African SK partner countries have benefited from investments that have been provided in the form of grants to establish astronomy programs, thus fostering a pan-African scientific community. SKA offers opportunities for African nations to engage in cutting-edge science, engineering, and data analysis, among others. This is more than a telescope, we emphasize. It is a platform for Africa to shape humanity's cosmic narrative and answering fundamental questions about the birth of various planets and the origins of our lives. Our journey in astronomy stretches from early observatories to the groundbreaking MeerKAT and now the SKA-Mid. This trajectory reflects South Africa's tradition of scientific excellence and innovation woven into a broader national strategy. Initiatives such as the hydrogen economy and space science programs complement the SKA initiative, showcasing a coherent vision for advancing knowledge and innovation. The SKA is a triumph of multilateral cooperation with 16 member countries across 5 continents and contributions from countries or nations like China, Italy, and UK in building telescope components. This project exemplifies global unity in pursuit of discovery. The first 4 SKA dishes, now undergoing rigorous testing, mark a milestone in this shared journey. The SKA is more than a scientific endeavor. It is a driver for socio-economic transformation. Since the start of the construction of MeerKAT, over 8,800 direct and indirect jobs have been created in this region. We have invested about 288 million with local suppliers and through contracts like the one with Power Denso employed 301 local people for the construction. Small businesses are thriving with 101.5 million distributed through financial assistance programs. Education is at the heart of our mission, as exemplified by Isaac. Over 300 high school bursaries, robotic programs, and early childhood development initiatives are inspiring the next generation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The Carnarvon SKA Visitor Center, a multi-million rand project, will blend science and tourism, thus boosting the local economy while showcasing SKA's wonders to the world. The Karoo's pristine environment is a global treasure. Our government is committed to protecting this radio quiet zone, ensuring minimal interference for the SKA's sensitive observations. Sustainability, which has been emphasized by previous speakers, is integral to this project, and the SKA's data could even contribute to climate science, aligning with our broader environmental goals. Our country's national astro-tourism strategy, launched a year ago, underscores our dedication to preserving dark skies while creating economic opportunities through astro-tourism. In making a call to action and future outlook, I would like to extend this message to our fellow G20 and SKAO partners, that I would like to extend a heartfelt invitation. Let us deepen our investment in this shared scientific future. The SKA Observatory is a model of science diplomacy, uniting nations in pursuit of knowledge that benefits all. I urge more G20 countries to join the Square Kilometre Array Observatory, amplifying our collective impact. South Africa remains committed to ensuring that the SKA's benefits are felt locally, nationally, continentally, and globally. From job creation to inspiring young minds, this project is a beacon of hope and progress. Together we can unlock the universe's secrets while building a more inclusive and innovative world. In conclusion, as we are going to tour this remarkable site today, let us remember to reflect on the power of cooperation and the strengths of partnerships and collaboration. The SKA is a testament to what we can achieve when we unite across borders, disciplines, languages, and cultures. On behalf of the peoples of South Africa, I thank you for being part of this journey. Let us continue to reach for the stars together. On behalf of Minister Nzimande, I wish to thank you.
Thank you, Digitele. I promise you we are almost done. You will get to go explore the telescopes that we've been talking about. I will now call on the chair of the SKAO Council, Dr. Filippo Zebi, to give a vote of thanks.
Yes, I was asked to give you a vote of thanks before we move out on the buses and go to see the telescope finally. I think that the first thank you has to go to the government of South Africa, Minister Nzimande, and the structures in the ministry for conceiving, organizing, and implementing this visit to site today. Radio telescopes, we put radio telescopes in deserts because those are radio quiet zones. What radio quiet means is that you have few people, no cell phones, no radios, no video cameras, no cameras. Then looking from here above, we are many, and we have a lot of electronic devices. So what is happening here today is non-standard. And I think that a big thank you has to go to all the people that made this possible, to bring us up here with airplanes, drive us, and we will drive them. They will drive us in the telescopes, and making all this possible is extremely important. So I think that the second thank you goes to all the people that made this possible, and the third and last thank you goes to you. You for coming here and sharing with us. We are more used to be here for obvious reason. The emotion of being here in this exceptional site, and also an exceptional infrastructure, as you will see. So thank you.
I can tell the chair really wants to go see what we've been doing. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. The formal part of the program is ended now. I just wish to thank everyone that has contributed to this program. What we will do now is ask the delegates to go through the exhibition area. There will be buses, I specifically says here luxury buses waiting for you. You will then be directed into the buses. In each bus, there will be someone guiding you through the site. Because it's very windy today, we might not be able to move the dishes around. So if they are just standing still, it's not because they don't like you being here. We really don't want to destroy them because of the wind. And then once we are done with the visit in the core, we'll come back here for lunch. So please stay with the groups. There will be people guiding you, but please go and enjoy the visit to this telescope.